For organs designed to merely register photons, it's an absolute cosmic joke that our eyes function as highly inefficient, constantly broadcasting truth serum dispensers. We spend careers mastering the art of the poker face, cultivating an aura of unflappable stoicism, only for a fractional twitch of the orbicularis oculi or a microseconds-long dilation of the pupil to betray our deepest anxieties, our seething resentments, or our sudden, inconvenient affections. How did these sensitive biological cameras, primarily tasked with navigating the physical world, become such relentlessly honest, almost embarrassingly transparent windows to our internal psychological landscape? The true answer lies not just in biology, but in a peculiar evolutionary gamble that transformed a basic sensory apparatus into a social signaling powerhouse. We'll delve into the precise neural circuitry and the cultural imprints that cemented this bizarre transparency later, but for now, consider the sheer, almost comical absurdity of a system that permits a flitting thought to physically alter the very structure of our gaze, turning us into walking, blinking billboards of our true intentions. It's an involuntary, inescapable performance that began not with conscious decision, but with the primitive, unyielding demands of survival and social navigation. Our eyes, in essence, became our most eloquent, albeit unsolicited, narrators. The initial layer of this involuntary emotional broadcast is rooted in the autonomic nervous system, a primordial circuit breaker that operates well beyond our conscious consent. Consider the pupil, that seemingly innocuous aperture in the center of the iris. Its size is controlled by two sets of muscles, the radial muscles, which dilate the pupil under sympathetic nervous system activation, and the circular muscles, which constrict it via the parasympathetic system. When the body perceives a threat, or experiences excitement, or even engages in intense cognitive processing, the sympathetic branch releases norepinephrine. This chemical floodgate doesn't just spike the heart rate, it commands the radial muscles to contract, pulling the pupil open, expanding the visual field, preparing for fight or flight, or perhaps in a more benign context, signaling heightened interest. Conversely, a sudden drop in arousal or a shift to a calm, focused state triggers the parasympathetic response, constricting the pupil. This isn't a deliberate choice, it's a reflex, a primal indicator of internal state. Imagine trying to bluff in poker with pupils that expand like ink blots every time you're dealt a full house. Beyond the pupil, the extraocular muscles, 6 pari, responsible for precise gaze direction, are also betraying us. Microsaccades, tiny, rapid, involuntary eye movements, increase under stress. An averted gaze, often signaling shame, deception, or discomfort, is a coordinated effort of these muscles, withdrawing the visual focus. Even the humble blink rate offers a tell. Stress, anxiety, or high cognitive load often leads to an increase in rapid, incomplete blinks, whereas concentrated focus can temporarily reduce it. The very machinery of vision itself, in its intricate physiological dance, becomes a conduit for truths we often desperately wish to keep concealed. This unique human transparency, particularly pronounced compared to many other species, hints at a deeper evolutionary rationale. Our most distinguishing ocular feature isn't the iris's color, but the prominent, brilliant white sclera. Unlike most primates, whose eyes are largely dark, blending the iris and sclera, human eyes offer a stark contrast. This cooperative eye hypothesis posits that a clearly visible sclera evolved to make gaze direction unambiguous. In a cooperative species, knowing where another individual is looking is paramount for shared attention, coordinated hunting, and anticipating intent. A shift of gaze quickly signals threat, interest, or a shared focus point. This biological quirk transformed the eye from a mere sensor into a beacon of social information. But it wasn't just about direction, it was about emotion. The muscles around the eye, like the orbicularis oculi, which contracts to create crow's feet, and the corrugator supercilii, which draws the eyebrows together in a frown, are not simply for protecting the eye. They evolved for intricate, nuanced signaling. A full, genuine smile, known as a Duchenne smile, involves the involuntary contraction of the orbicularis oculi, crinkling the corners of the eyes, a movement notoriously difficult to fake. These muscle groups, finely tuned over millennia, allowed our ancestors to transmit complex emotional states, fear, surprise, anger, sadness, joy, with astonishing efficiency. This was a critical survival mechanism in complex social groups where rapid, nonverbal communication could mean the difference between cohesion and chaos, between survival and extinction. The interpretation of these ocular signals is equally complex, involving sophisticated neural networks within the human brain. The amygdala, often called the brain's fear center, is particularly attuned to processing fearful expressions in the eyes, even when these expressions are subliminal. The fusiform gyrus, a specialized region in the temporal lobe, is crucial for face recognition, but its activity extends to interpreting subtle shifts in gaze and expression around the eyes. The superior temporal sulcus, STS, is a master interpreter of biological motion, including the nuanced movements of the eyes and eyelids, crucial for understanding social cues and inferring intentions. And then there's the mirror neuron system, a fascinating network that activates both when we perform an action and when we observe someone else performing it. When we see a subtle tightening around someone's eyes indicating suspicion, our own brain circuitry for expressing suspicion subtly fires, allowing us to feel and understand the emotion almost instantaneously. While some basic eye expressions, like widened eyes for surprise, are universally recognized across cultures, a phenomenon explored by Darwin, the interpretation and display rules for others are deeply calibrated by societal norms. In some cultures, direct eye contact signifies respect and engagement. In others, it can be seen as aggressive or rude. The precise duration and intensity of a gaze, the subtle tilt of the head, the rate of blinking, all are social cues we learn to interpret from infancy, a complex grammar of nonverbal communication hardwired into our developing brains. So, the grand, cynical truth is that human eyes reveal emotions because they are the nexus of an involuntary physiological apparatus, a sophisticated muscular system honed by evolutionary pressures, and a complex neural architecture dedicated to social cognition. They are the ultimate biological open-source intelligence. Our primitive fight-or-flight responses dilate pupils, specialized muscles convey nuanced joy or suspicion, and an ancient evolutionary gamble made our sclera bright, broadcasting our gaze direction for all to see. In essence, evolution, in its infinite, almost absurd wisdom, decided that the benefits of transparent social signaling outweighed the risks of revealing our true selves. We are, quite literally, hardwired for inconvenient honesty. Whether it's a poker player attempting to mask their hand, a politician trying to feign sincerity, or a lover struggling to conceal a secret, the eyes are often the first to betray the carefully constructed facade. They are the ultimate biological lie detector, constantly beaming our internal state to anyone paying attention. In a world obsessed with privacy and controlled narratives, our eyes remain the one truly reliable constant, a pair of exquisitely designed, perpetually active tell-all cameras, recording and broadcasting our deepest, most unflattering truths, whether we like it or not. We evolved to see, but also, paradoxically, to be seen, with a brutal, unavoidable clarity that defies millennia of human deceit.